A very good morning. Thanks for clicking on to the monthly Outlook edition of Vogan's European Outlook. It's Thursday, it's the 23rd of July, and yeah, it's the August Outlook, believe it or not. It's been an incredibly quick summer, that's for sure. And maybe for some of you, it's because it has been a disappointing summer. If you don't like the cool and the wet, this hasn't been the summer for you if you live across central and northern parts of the British Isles, back across much of Ireland and into Scandinavia as well. It has been disappointingly cool and indeed at times wet as well. But certainly for the southeast of the UK, extending into France, Iberia, Central and Southern Europe, it has been not a bad summer at all. And you can see here the temperature profile has been very consistent throughout the past few months. This was May, considerably cooler than normal across the UK, Ireland, into Scandinavia, Denmark included. In fact, it was the coolest May since 1996 for the British Isles. This was June, another cooler than normal month. But you notice here the relationship between May and June in terms of where it's been warmest, where it's been coolest, and indeed even the month of July is starting to shape up that way as well. We've had an incredible amount of heat across parts of Iberia, France, Central and Southern Europe. Water temperatures considerably above normal across the Mediterranean. That's been boosting heights. Drier ground as well, boosting heights. So therefore the temperatures have been warmer than normal. But certainly the blues representing below normal now starting to edge into the UK from the Atlantic here. So the cold water very much influencing the upper air pattern. Speaking of the upper air pattern, we've had a negative NAO summer overall. You can see here the left hand chart represents the 500 millibar geopotential height anomalies. We've had warmer than normal conditions, or should I say, higher pressure across Greenland, higher pressure down across Europe as well. Very much in a kind of fight zone here across the UK between the trough and the Atlantic, the ridge over Europe here overall, and the temperatures very much reflective of that and the overall pattern. This is surface temperature anomalies uh, from June 1st here. So it's certainly been a warm summer across more southern parts of the continent, colder than normal across the north here. What's very interesting, folks, and this is something I posted on marfoganweather.com yesterday, was the data released by NOAA and representing both May and June as the warmest May and June on record for the planet overall. What's quite interesting, I find, is this is the data for the month of May, and I want to draw your attention closely to the UK. Do you notice something? Both the UK and Scandinavia is essentially above normal, yet we had the coolest May since 1996, nearly 20 years. So why is the information here not reflective of the charts I just showed you? This is the month of June. Remember, again, it was below normal across the UK, Ireland, and Scandinavia. This is what it looked like here. So the UK average, maybe a touch below normal. And look at Scandinavia, just slightly below normal here. So what my point is, and the reason why I'm showing you this, is I'm very, very skeptical about the fact that the shout every month is the warmest on record. How much of this do you really believe? Because it's very clear that our part of the world is not correct. This is not the May that we had over the UK and Ireland here. It's representing average to slightly above average across both the UK, Ireland, and Scandinavia when it was one of the coolest in decades. So I'm very, very reluctant, in a sense, to believe the information that's getting put to us and the hysteria about all the warming that's going on. There's no question about it. The El Nino that's coming on could be one of the strongest in the last 50 years, in the last half century, and that will release a lot of heat into the atmosphere globally. But looking at the finer details, there's probably been warmer Mays, Junes, Julys. July will probably work out to be the warmest on record as well. Who knows? When you've got this amount of warmth extending from the equatorial Pacific all the way to the Gulf of Alaska, you're going to add heat to the atmosphere over Western North America. We are also seeing very, very cool conditions across parts of the Midwest region. We're talking about one of the coldest Julys on record for Newfoundland. Look at the cold water temperatures around Newfoundland. We've had a big blocking high up over Baffin Island, so therefore the winds around that high pressure system has been blowing right over that cold water straight into St. John's, Newfoundland, and it is the complete opposite. Look at this here, at the very corner of the map. Look at the sea surface temperature anomalies around Italy here. We're talking about SSTs, as you can see here, around the 32-degree mark surrounding Italy here. That is going to add heat to the atmosphere, as it's doing over western parts of North America, and therefore we're going to see warmer than normal temperatures. But you look back and you see where the oceans are colder, we're seeing a cooler summer overall. So there you go. And there is plenty of blue on that map as well as there is red, believe me here. But certainly it looks as if August, based on all that's going on, is going to remain warmer than normal across Iberia, across southern parts of Europe, and across the Mediterranean basin. This is the CFSV2 500 millibar height anomalies for the month of August, the final month of summer 2015. And I don't really fully disagree with this. I think it's a little bit overdone further north here across the UK. I think the ridge is extending too far north in the means here. I think we're going to get more negative into the northwestern UK, extending into Scandinavia. But the 2-meter temperature anomalies are reflective of the ideas. It's got some below normals here, but you notice here over the Mediterranean, it's got that faint yellow representing above normal temperatures. I think it's going to be warmer than this in the south. I agree pretty much with what it's got over the north. I think that blue is going to be more extensive in the Scandinavia. I think overall, we're basically going to repeat what we've seen in the month of July. As for hot spells, I'm very unsure about that at the moment. Whether summer is over completely up here across particularly Scotland, back in the Northern Ireland, Scandinavia, I'm very much open to question about that. We may get a few warm days here and there. I think overall the Atlantic is really winning out this year. Notice here in the precipitation anomalies has got wetter than normal across the north, where the ground by the way is near enough saturated. That has big impacts on the atmosphere above. And of course you've got the drier than normal conditions where the ground is drier anyway, and we've got surrounding waters that are warmer than normal, so therefore we're going to see a boost in heights and a boost in surface temperatures. I'm a wee bit unsure about the rainfall down here across the Mediterranean, Iberia, southern France, Italy and whatnot. Sometimes you do get late season feedback with that warm water, which actually with an El Nino adds to a wetter end of summer and beginning of autumn here. So there's a lot of things here to look at, folks. But I want to keep you posted as best I can. Keep checking back here on markfoganweather.com. The summer forecast overall has been very, very good this year. So overall, will wind up as expected in the month of August. Certainly, in my opinion, August looks likely to remain cool and wet across areas that we've seen cool and wet all along the central and the northern parts of the UK, extending to Scandinavia. The southern UK should hold on to warmer, drier than normal conditions, and warmer and drier across Iberia, southern and central portions of Europe overall. That's it for today. Do check out the written post. It will be available shortly. Bye for now.